I think it's time to have a little class on the U.S. economy. Okay, something a lot of people apparently don't realize. All right, so first we've got government jobs, okay? Teachers, firefighters, construction workers, public health officials. They get paid by taxpayer money. But guess what? That money doesn't just disappear. They spend that money on groceries, rent, gas, and that spending keeps businesses running. Plus, they also pay taxes on their income, which helps fund schools, roads, and emergency services, etc. Now, over here, we have private industry, corporations, small businesses, tech companies, creating and paying wages. This side is crucial as well. When people earn fair wages, they have the money to spend, which keeps the economy moving. That's called a healthy economic cycle. But here's the problem. Billionaires and massive corporations aren't paying their fair share. Instead of paying their share in taxes like the rest of us, they use loopholes, offshore accounts, and tax breaks to hoard trillions of dollars. That money could be going back into public services, infrastructure, and wages, but instead it just sits there doing nothing for the economy. And when the government doesn't have enough tax revenue, they make cuts. Fewer teachers, worse roads, weaker social services. Then the same billionaires who dodged taxes to begin with turn around and say, government spending is out of control, when really the problem is that they aren't paying in. So next time someone tells you the deficit is all about too much government spending, remind them it's not just about spending, it's about billionaires not paying their fair share. An economy works when everyone contributes. It's time to fix this. And firing thousands of federal employees is not fixing it. What that's doing is actually decimating the economy. As I explained, those people are losing their jobs, which means they won't have money to spend into the economy. Is there room to trim the fat and make the federal government a leaner machine that's more efficient with the taxpayers' money? Absolutely. But do we do it with a chainsaw? No, you do it with a scalpel, like a surgeon. And that's exactly what Bill Clinton did when he left us with a surplus. And he worked in tandem with one of the most conservative people in history, Newt Gingrich. What we are seeing right now is a massive takeover of our federal government by oligarchs. They are eliminating all of the civil servants and people that will get in their way from privatizing everything. Everything in America now will cost you money, your money, straight out of your wallet. If you want to seek health care, you better be able to afford it. If you want to be able to use certain roads, you better be able to pay for that. If you want, I think eventually, to be able to put the fire out in your house, you better belong to some sort of membership where you are paying for those services. I'll put it to you in business terms. Any business understands that after a certain amount of profit, you don't get to just take all that money and take it home and spend it on jet skis. Some of your money has to go back into your business to help leverage your business, grow your business, sustain your business, pay your employees. An economy is the same way. We can't allow the money that gets created in our economy, the amount of wealth that gets created in our United States economy, to just get siphoned off and put into the personal bank accounts of people who just want to have more. Think about it. They built that wealth here in America using a lot of American goods and services and using the labor of American people. And then they don't want to pay back into that system. They just want to pull the ladder up behind them and take all the money with them. Well, we can't allow that to happen. Look, government is not a business. Government's purpose is not to turn a profit. Government's purpose is to protect the greater good of society from being exploited by people who might take advantage of the good faith and goodwill of the people. People like these billionaires who are doing exactly that right now. And we are not going to have a greater society moving forward if we just hand the keys over to people who already have too much power and too much money. Look, we've all heard the expression, money is the root of all evil. And it is because it is the number one device you can use to corrupt any person who might have entered into politics with the best of intentions. But once they get a taste of power, once they sit in that plush leather seat, and once corporations and people with big money are writing them big checks, all of their intentions go out the window. Everything that they thought they stood for goes out the window. Look at all of the Republicans who used to stand in opposition of Donald Trump, and now where are they? Marco Rubio, for God's sake, warned us of all the things that are happening currently, and now he's the Secretary of State representing the administration, enacting the very things that he warned us against. We don't fix government by firing civil servants and people who have worked their entire lives for the betterment of our country. We fix government by getting money out of politics, and that starts by reversing Citizens United, which allowed corporations and people with deep pockets to have unfettered access to our legislators by writing big checks. Secondly, we need to make sure that we get our government to vote for term limits on themselves. And the way you do that is by shouting and screaming like a lot of these town halls that we're seeing. This is not the time for urbane speeches from a podium. This is not the time for people to be polite in what they are trying to say. It is give me liberty or give me what? Yeah, not politeness. That's not the end of that sentence. We have to make sure that we let them know that there's more of us than there are of them, and they should be scared. Look, a lot of you have effed around and found out, and perhaps your pride isn't allowing you to have the introspection necessary to see where you allowed lies and rhetoric to whip you up into fear and anger, to where you were attacking your fellow American, people who are already marginalized and hurting in this country. You have to see and look inward to see where you had a certain bias that was maybe in the blind spot of your perspective, that got triggered immediately by the rhetoric and lies that were coming out of the mouths of people from within the echo chambers you listen. But you have got to make a choice right now. Who are you in this world? I admire a person who can say I miscalculated. I admire a person who says, you know what, I wasn't looking at the bigger picture. I admire a person who says, you know what, I was wrong. But I think it's absolutely foolish for somebody to die on the hill holding on to a falsehood because they're afraid to admit the truth. You got to determine who you are in this world and what you stand for, and whether you want the last thing people remember about you to be that you were more willing to hold on to a lie than you were to stand for the truth.